Welcome to the Dusklight Communion, a Grand Archive podcast. It's been a while since the last episode, uh, but we're back for episode 5, talking about North America Nationals, bands, and what we expect from Worlds upcoming. It's been a
It's,
very interesting past, 3 weeks, I think?
it's been a hot second since we've recorded, which was entirely intentional, and we didn't plan to do this several times.
Yeah, moving's more work than I thought.
I was in a different state.
Yeah, but we're back.
Yes.
So let's hop right into Nationals. This is the day 1 statistics, courtesy of Fractal of Insight. Not that much fire.
At a quarter.
Yeah, and if you look at the archetypes, a lot of those fire decks were just fire aggro.
I mean, it turns out, fire's good at dealing damage.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have guessed? But a lot of water, and if you look at the archetypes, you can see why. There was 55 fractal decks, which is 26% of the day 1 metagame.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is 26%. I was like, what are you talking about? It's 42. I'm like, oh no, those are the water decks. It's over half of the water decks that were at the event.
Yeah. And 21 more of those water decks were just Genbu.
Yeah, well, that's some quick math real quick. That leaves approximately, what, 13 more decks that were just not either of those two?
Yeah, some rogue decks. But I think it's safe to say that NA Nationals was fractals or decks that can try and beat fractals.
Yeah, I do. Speaking of, I love seeing Luxem Assassin on there because my first thought is, why don't they just say Xander? What other who? And I was like, all right, Gojira. And then my thought was like, no, no, it isn't.
No, it's not. So yeah, this is, I think, semi-balanced day 1, kind of in line of what we were expecting. I wasn't expecting fractals to be as high, but
Expecting fire aggro to be higher, just any variation of it, like
especially
after
because this was right after Clarent. Well,
yeah, this was after
right,
Clarence.
I say right after. It was like 3 weeks after.
It was enough time for people to be, hey, wait a minute, this card's good.
Yeah, but it turns out fractal players can be smart at the game and play around it because they just have like quote unquote 12 influence by turn 3.
Well, they just keep throwing refracting missiles and be like, do you want to prevent some of this? And you never want to say yes. It feels bad to say yes.
Because you gotta save one for Burst Asunder.
Yes.
But also if you get too greedy...
And you can't just save one for Burst Asunder, because if you do, they go, oh, cool, fracturize it, make you pop it.
Yeah. But going then into day 2, our flood of fractal decks becomes a tsunami of fractal decks. With maybe one of the most insane conversion rates I've ever seen in a tournament, besides
it is
maybe the recent Magic
20%.
tournament.
Yeah. Hold on, it's 14 fractal decks out of 55.
Yeah.
Quick math in my head, let's assume that's 15, so that's 3 out of 11. 3 out of 11.
Sure.
That is the shorthand.
Yeah, so around a little under 30.
Yeah, about a 25% conversion rate.
Yeah, about probably like 27% conversion rate, which is
actually 25 is actually a very close.
Yeah, which is
it's
kind of
slightly
wild.
over 25%.
Just pure statistics taking player skill out of it. If you brought fractals to this tournament, you had
I would do pretty well for yourself.
Yeah, you'd have a 25% chance at day 2, which that's pretty good rate.
Oh yeah. I did this in that tournament.
Genbu was also similar. It was 21 to 6, so similar conversion rate there. I think Assassin had or Luxem Assassin was the best of these, right? Because it's 21 decks to 9 decks.
That is almost 50%.
And it's almost entirely
over a third. It's over 30%. To be fair, if you want to play that deck, you have to be confident as hell in your abilities to play.
Not many people win Luxem, but the few that do are very good at it.
Oh, and you have to be, otherwise you don't keep playing it because you get frustrated because the deck doesn't do anything.
Yeah. But, wow. 30% of decks being fractals on day 2, and about half of the metagame overall day 2 being water. I mean, yeah.
Powerful stuff.
And then it gets even sillier when we look at Top Cut, where it's 7 7 water decks.
Like, God,
Oh,
well, it's not 7. Well, 7 water decks, yes. I thought you were
yes.
going to say 7 fractal decks. I was like, well, close,
No.
but...
No, five fractals. So, because what? It was 14 fractal decks. There was like what, like 60 decks day 2? What is it? 40, 46 or 46 decks on day 2. 14 of which were fractals, and of those 14 fractals, 5 went to top 8.
Yeah.
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 Oh.
I want you to take a guess, by the way. Between those 5 fractal decks, what do you think the difference in their list is?
The only
I would
ones
argue,
who should have a different
even
list
between
is
numbers,
Boruthos and Caben and Perfy should be on the same list, right? Or
I don't
similar?
double check. Hold on, what was this event again? Let me check.
Because they're all the same team. They're all Garuthos, Caben, and Perfy are all true team.
So
I think they have
what day
slight
was this
variations,
event?
but the
This
core
was-
is the same.
When did this event take place again? Remind me.
End of May?
June May 25th.
Yeah.
I see it. Pulling up their list now. That looks noted. That looks identical. There's a turbocharge. Turbocharge spotted.
Okay. Yeah. Turbocharge in Fractals is just Shengzhou number 5.
Yeah, never mind. Yep, hold on. Looking, all of them have this. Okay. I can't. There is a difference, but God, I can't place it immediately.
Because of this list here, Bobo is main deck Taylor and CTR God is main deck Mitch. So their lists are
Actually,
a little similar.
I don't think there is a difference between any of these.
There probably isn't. Fractals towards the end of its run, spoiler alert, got so homogenized. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, the one of
There's,
captivating, 3 of unstable.
There's a few like newer iterations with this event. Like people were starting to run Orb of Hubris more often. Chills of the Bone was in the sideboards more often.
It's funny that people are more willing to run not Chill to the Bone, but people were more willing to run Orb of Hubris than they were just
That's good.
playing Refreshment. Why not just play Refreshment? Doesn't that do that? But it's not.
Refreshment does it from memory.
Sure, and Orb of Hubris does all them.
In the memory.
Again, agreed, but it is one of those things where it's like, it is the same purpose of, you play it, alright, you shuffle away some of your stuff, you draw it for
the
next
idea
turn.
of Orb is it's like one of the last things you do. It's like you've played all your fractals, you've cycled all your stuff with Dissonant Fractal. Also, like if you play Dissonant, like if you materialize Orb of Hubris, and then you play Dissonant Fractal, you can possibly know exactly what you're drawing.
Same is true though with Refreshment.
Yeah, but you get them immediately to hand. So if there's a
That's
Versus under on top, you kill them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was always a huge big refreshment believer.
Yeah, I think they cut it for intrusion at the end, just because.
Which fair. I was also a fan of that one.
It's good to mess with them.
Oh yeah, in the mirror, you're like, oh, you put that thing face down, sick.
Yeah. Especially as I think as Fractal Hate become greater, people wanted to run Refreshment, because most of what people were doing in tournaments with Refreshment was sending spare Fractals down to find kill cons, but now you needed the spare Fractals because they were going to blow up some number of your Fractals.
Yeah.
But I think just a natural evolution. I think some of the newer versions are running Refreshment now, because they can't run one of them anymore.
Yeah, and yes, after I've looked at all 5 of these lists, I think, barring sideboard, they are all exactly the same.
Yeah. New and innovative deck design.
Oh, wait, no, hold on, there's a wand effect. Never mind, that's the same.
Yeah.
Sorry, you know, I thought I found something, I didn't.
In addition to the 5 Fractal decks, there's 2 Genbu decks. I think their lists are pretty different from each other.
One of these
I don't think Superior was on Buried Grief.
Sorry, what card?
Buried Grief, a card that I said was bad,
What
and
is,
now it's good.
No, tell me what it does exactly, Jacob.
It's a slow norm spell or skill. I don't know if it's skill or spell.
It's
but
a skill. It's cleric skill.
It draws 2, and then you put 1 card from your hand back on top of your deck.
But Jacob, why would you want to do that? I don't
You
understand.
want to put cards
Tell
with
me in excruciating
floating
detail.
memory back on top of your deck, so you mill them. We'll get to that. Joe Foch's list is in 2 slides.
Okay. No, but I'm holding this against you.
I know. Is Superior running Buried Grief?
Superior is not turning Buried Grief,
Okay.
but they are on the Young Beast Spawners instead.
Yeah. Superior's list is the one I played. Well, I played a list based off one of his prior lists. at nationals, and I went 4-4. So pretty
Can I
middle of the
say,
road.
I love the one of Miser's Frostbind. Just like there's 2 title locks, sure, they might expect that, and
Yeah.
obviously they're gonna expect the Cerulean Decrees. But you having only 2 cards and like maybe you don't have the water card, but like, haha, play this like, haha, Frostbind.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I'm always a sucker for a quench.
Yeah, Genbu's pretty good. I'll talk from my experience real quick with Fractals versus Genbu. It kind of becomes a slugfest of, can I kill you with 3 powered creatures before you can find your second copy of Burst Asunder? Because the first one you'll eat up with like a safeguard or like a Quicksilver safeguard, right?
Hopefully.
If they have a second one, then usually you die. But it's just like, okay, I'm gonna flip this Genbu. I'm gonna hit you for 3. No additional lines of text. I'm just gonna whack you for 3. You're gonna use Young Beast, like I used Young Beast Bonder to buff up like the Dolphin and Unbroken Mustang, just to keep whacking them for damage. And you just, can I kill you before you kill me? Which is interesting. It's definitely different. And then of course we have
Bonder.
We got Korax
Beast
with
Bonder's good enough in like Suzaku mid range. So all your fate stones are beasts. I don't know.
I don't know
it's
how
kind of funny.
Flip them. That's a different topic, but
I'd love to make a Cheetah like a 4/3.
That would be.
What are they gonna do to that?
We've got Garuthas' second place list here, and you will notice a large red word over Dissonant Fractal. Spoiler for anyone who somehow doesn't know, Dissonant Fractal was banned. I think like the week after Nats. I think it was like a week.
There was no warning, and to those of you, we'll just discuss it now. This one did come a little bit out of left field because they have the tier system. Well, so I'm for how they've done it previously.
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know, Grand Archive has a tier system for bannings where they have a watch list. If it's on tier 1, they're saying, hey, we're looking at these cards that we don't maybe like their play patterns or the design. We're going to put these as a warning. Then they have tier 2, which is, okay, we've looked at these a little bit closer, and we're a bit more suspect on them. These may in the future be banned, or card design like this will not exist. And then tier 3 is, nope, you're banned. We don't like this. We didn't like how it affected the meta. You're not allowed to play with this card anymore.
Usually,
and typically, things will slowly rise.
Yeah, they usually have stuff slowly rise. I think the only time ever before this anything jumped up immediately, it was Icebound from Cat. I don't even think it was in a Cat. I think it just went straight to Cat 3.
I think it was Cat 1 for a little bit. I think it was at least on the list.
I don't remember.
But Unstable Fractal had no
indication.
It wasn't on there. Did I say Unstable?
Yeah. Dissonant Fractal wasn't on the Cat. It just went straight to Cat 3, so instantly banned. Quote unquote a surprise. Everyone I talked to at Nats that was playing Fractals or had the whims to talk about Fractals was like, yeah, Dissonant needs to go. Dissonant's the problem. It gives too much consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Burst is whatever. Burst is dealable, but Dissonant being able to glimpse 4 and being a 1 cost
is such a high number.
Reservable. It did too much too easily. I learned that in testing, it was nicknamed Broken Fractal, not because like it was like too good, but because Dissonant. It's like literally a broken rock.
There's another word for Dissonant.
But it is just a little funny.
It is quite funny. But they also did specify in their when they put it up to tier 3, they said, hey, just so we know, this tier system is a warning to show you guys what we're thinking. We are allowed to do this. Like, do not expect this in the future as much. We try not to do it, but we will if we need to.
No one was upset about it, though.
Yeah, no one. And you can't even say, like, oh, well, I spent all this money on, like, buying these unstable. No, yeah, Dissonant Fractals. No, you didn't. It's a common. It's like 2 cents.
Yeah. It's like the meme where it's like World War II is over or whatever, and it's all the soldiers holding the paper. It's like that, where it's like, yeah, Dissonant Fractal banned.
I can play other decks again.
Yeah, so Fractals is still playable. We because this was like this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago that this happened. Fractals is still playable. It's not as consistent or easy, but it does still exist. It's still very scary when they just have like 8 Fractals on board by turn 5, and they're like, you burst asunder, and you're like, oh yeah, it's 22 damage. I die.
Sorry. This is a bit. People won't know why I'm laughing, so I'm gonna explain. I was checking. I was like, oh yeah, sure. Let me check some of like the events that have happened recently to see if Fractals have placed. And I'm on Fractal Event site. Haha. And I click on the Yeti Gaming Regional, the Yeti Gaming like weekly on Thursday, and I click it. And I click Glib's player list. I'm like, oh, that's formatted differently. Why is it spaced so weird?
Oh.
And I scroll down. And to those of you who want to go look at the event that happened on 620 or 619, the Thursday weekly, you'll scroll down and notice one of the decks is a bit different.
Yeah, I'll let the viewers go and find that one. I think
Yeah.
it's funnier if they don't know what it is ahead of time.
Oh, there's two of them. I forgot.
There's two of them. It was a team effort.
It sure
it's a little
was.
funny. But yeah, Fractals has placed the Nebraska regional, Dakota. No, I think it's one of the Dakotas. It's a JWW, main deck dance store. Null placed first with Fractals, and I think it was pretty much just switching Dissonant for Fractal Refreshment and just calling it a day.
Sometimes you gotta.
Deck's not as consistent, but still very strong. It's still a pretty good deck and pretty cheap for the cards you need in terms of Grand Archive. Although I don't know, Quicksilver Grail is like $100 or something like that right now. I don't.
Quicksilver Grail and the Zhang Zhao's are the only expensive part. But honestly, you can use Zhang Zhao's and other things.
She's gone down a little bit now. I think she's like 25 last I checked. I might be talking.
It's one of those things where, if you did like this was your one deck and like a linchpin got banned, two things. One, you didn't lose too much because the deck is still playable. It's not as oppressive as it was, but it's still very strong. But the other thing is, all of the like expensive pieces from this deck are legitimately just good cards.
Yeah.
Like Quicksilver Grail is just a very good Divine Relic.
I think the only thing that's expensive that's not playable anywhere else is Opulence.
Is Opulence expensive though?
It's like $10.
Yeah, it is relatively expensive.
Yeah.
But like also Frosthorns and Fracturizes.
Yeah, Frosthorn,
you'll play those in
Fracturized Awesome Thought. That's good water card. Sheng Zhao's good in Tony Domains, and it's really good in like wind decks where sometimes you can put 7 cards down in memory, and your opponent just goes, "Oh no."
Yeah, sometimes you either use either end of Zhang Zhao of you're either like, okay, haha, I'm going to be drawing 2 cards off this. You're like, haha, I'm going to eat a card out of your hand repeatedly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do like in the middle, you're like, I just need to gain life, please.
I have used all 4 modes in my lifetime, and they're all, when they're good, they're good.
Oh yeah.
In Tony Domain specifically, I've used the first 3. I've never used the last one, but
it's hard for you to get to the last
sometimes
one.
I've had to be like, yeah, I need to glimpse 4 to find a copy of the Eternal Kingdom to make my fractals, or not my fractals, my domains into fractals.
I need to find a smash with Obelisk.
Yeah. Fractals, good deck. Was a much better deck. Now it's not as good, but thank God.
I am okay with this.
Yeah. Then going to the next monster of a deck, the Mario Kart Blue Shell, Genbu Mill. Remember when Watermill was good with Icebound Slam, and then everyone was like, "Oh, Icebound's gone." Even though Genbu's cool, it's not going to be good. It's still good. Watermill. The Watermill engine is just so solid. It's just so hard to interact with unless you're like fully teched into it, in which case you're gonna lose to other decks.
Yeah, it's the 61 card special.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 61 card for Song of Frost. Sure.
Couldn't cut anything?
I don't know. I personally had all my Song of Frost on the side. The list I played was very similar. I think him and Superior were like on similar like wavelengths of what they wanted the deck to be. Yeah, I think the only real big difference between this and Superior's list is Superior plays Young Beast Bonder instead of Buried Grief. And some of the numbers are different. Like, there was 3 Conniving Plans, 2 Stratagems, 3 Fugues, but the numbers are easy enough to mess with. The
they were
deck's
more
very good.
Okay with their turtle getting 8.
Yeah. Oh, and specifically, the big difference. Jofacha does not play level 3 Gojia. Superior does play level 3 Gojia.
Yeah.
which is a decision that I don't know how I feel about still. I used a level 3 a lot at both nationals and the regionals the day after. Level 3 sometimes won me games because it's a effective heal 6 button with the 3 extra health and the on-enter heal 3. And sometimes it was too much for like a fire aggro deck or a fractal player on the ropes to handle.
Fair, fair.
But also having backup charger in addition to all your other draw effects is pretty good. There were times where I felt not having another draw card, but it's player's choice at that point. It's very small semantics.
6 of one, half dozen the other.
Yeah. I mean, no, this deck's strong. It's probably best deck in format now after Fractals got changed up. And not in like a tier 0 sense, but just like a top of tier 1 sense.
It's good enough that people have to kind of like tech their decks to know that it exists.
Yeah. Nullifying Lantern, still very useful.
Yeah. We play a Lantern, and then you go, alright, Mustang it. Fracturize it response. Oh.
Yeah. Rack your Lantern, kids.
As soon as you can.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much to say about this deck besides like it is what it like. It's a complicated deck, but it's also very simple when you just are like, these cards have float. These cards want to put things in the graveyard with float. Wow.
It's one of the decks that we've talked about this before of you really like it because when you used to play Magic, you very much liked graveyard-centric strategies, or
Yeah.
decks that cared about throwing your deck into the graveyard to use it like a resource. And for a lot of people, that can be very frustrating because you're targeting yourself with Gojira and Fractals of Rain, and you're seeing like some of your polar depths going away, you're seeing some of your cerulean decrees, and you're like, this sucks, I didn't even benefit, what is this? And it's very important to remember that, yeah, variance. Like, that kind of a deck can frustrate a lot of people, and it could feel like you don't have a lot of agency, but this kind of deck requires you to kind of always be aware of what's in your hand, what's in your graveyard, maybe what's left in your deck. Stuff like Berry Grief allowing you to stack the top of your deck. And just like understanding like you need to be able to kind of adapt your strategy based on what you're playing against, what you're milling at the time, what you are able to like control.
Yeah, it can be hard to pivot mentally that quickly during a game.
Oh yeah.
But once you get used to it, it's not too bad. But I know
This is
all of my locals that picked it up after Nats, they're like, I hate playing this. This is so frustrating, but I also understand that it's very strong.
Yeah, it's a deck that very much rewards you for having a lot of reps in it.
Yeah. And also sometimes just being the most lucky man alive.
Oh yeah, no, sometimes you just flip all 3 Pelagics and you're like, I'm just simply gaming.
Yeah, there definitely are some decks in the format that just like, I don't think can beat Genbu. Like, they just have such a rough time. And in the regionals, I went against a Fire Crux deck. A very good player, a very strong deck. But that deck just, like, can't touch you. Like, they put the Lantern out, and you're like, okay, Mustang. They can't interact with the Mustang. Fire can't do anything against that. I think at one point, I was just like, Lost in Thought for 5 into Lost in Thought for 4 into Activate Seaside. That's...
Draw 2 Jillian cards.
Fire Crux can't stop that.
Fire Crux looks like goes, damn.
Yeah. But against like Wind decks, it can have a harder time because Wind decks have Ensnaring Fumes and Extortion Scheme, Purse, Ventus.
God, just hearing Extortion Scheme, like, hey, yeah, it does.
There's that. I think it's a Ranger Wind uncommon. It's like Squallbind or something.
Squallbind Instinct? Why do I feel like Instinct's in that?
I just know it. I just know it kills Shenju.
Squallbind Pounce.
Squallbind Pounce. Okay.
Yes, imbue 2, up to 1 target ranger unit becomes distant. If Squallbind Pounce is imbued, suppress up to 1 target attacking ally.
That's a skill.
Yes, it is specifically a skill reaction,
Yeah.
which means you could Bertha it, but it wouldn't matter because the imbue part is the part that suppresses.
Yeah. That's another reason why I like level 3. It gives you access to the level 2 lineage release.
Sometimes you gotta protect the turtle.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one game when I picked up Genbu a long while back. And he had like 6 in hand. I'm like, okay, he showed me 1 Squallbind Pounce with a windmill. I'm fairly confident he's holding up another one. I'm gonna go to level 3, oh, cool, you play one, I negate it. You play the other one, title lock. But
Die.
if I was only a level 2 deck, I would not have been able to do that, and I would have died to other shenanigans a turn later. So I like level
Yeah.
3 personally, but I understand this. The way Joe Facha plays is also very different from the way I play.
It's also just 8 extra health, by the way.
Yeah, but the way Joe Facha plays, I respect a lot. I do, in fact, love gambling, but he gets to control his gambling a little bit with Buried Grief.
Yeah, it's almost like it's good. For those of you uninitiated, because now it's my turn. I told Jacob this was a good card, because I remember I stumbled across it. I was like, oh, this goes card neutral, like it doesn't actually cost you anything, and you also get to set up mill. That's got to be like pretty
This
fine.
was back in
and
like MRC, where like there wasn't a reason to set up mills.
There was still this was around Fractal of Rain, and I feel like we had seen Gojira, but maybe not Genbu. But I was like, no, I think this card's like pretty solid. Like at worst, it's like a creative shock that like if you can mill yourself, it's just like good. And water's all about milling, so there's got to be something. You're like, yeah, but like why would you? Like why would you spend the time to do it? I was like, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty fine as a mid-range play.
Now we have good reason to have Pelagic Fatestone, because Pelagic Fatestone in your hand is really bad.
It draws a card.
I think most of the cards in this deck with float like are fine to have in your hand besides Pelagic. Fracture
That was very good.
Good. Lost in Thoughts is good. Primordial Ritual is good. Refracting's good. Tidestone's good. Like so, all the other float cards either you can put into the graveyard.
Want Seaside in your hand?
Yeah, but you can play Seaside and Primordial it.
Yeah, you can.
Once the Pelagic Fatestone is in play, you yourself cannot get rid of it.
No.
Mustang.
You can frack it.
Yeah, you can fracturize it, which I've had to do before, but and then if they scatter essence it, it feels really weird because it's like, oh, now it's a float again. Then I can dolphin it.
You're like, sick deal.
Yeah. Genbu's cool.
You fool.
I haven't played it since Nats, but it's a good deck. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's much else to say. It's a pretty good deck right now. I expect to see it heavily at Worlds.
I've never personally played it. I'm not opposed to playing it. It's a neat deck.
I think next, yeah. Ban list update. So yeah, a week after Nats, big ban list announcement with a lot of shakeups. The big ones, Dissonant Fractal went to Cat 3 from nothing. Lost in Thought and Crystalline Mirror both got moved up from Cat 1 to Cat 2, and Mercenary Blade, they're hiding in the bottom right, got moved to Cat 1. We talked about Dissonant a lot, but just
I feel strongly about the fact that go back.
What?
Why is Crystalline Mirror Cat 2?
I mean, I get why Crystalline Mirror's a Cat 2. I just wish Fracturize was also on the Cat list still.
Cool. That's my point.
We'll get to Mirror. We'll get to Mirror. That's the next one. We'll talk about Fracturize extensively when we talk about Mirror.
Mercenary's Blade bumping. Did Mercenary Blade recently get bumped up to Cat 1, by the way?
Yeah, it went from 0 to 1.
Yeah, alright. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah. So Distant Fractal, TLDR, too consistent, too good for a one-cost common.
Yeah, this rarity notwithstanding, because rarity always I don't feel that should ever actually play into like the power level of something.
No, but it plays into the ban ability or something because they don't want people to feel bad about losing like people who sunk money into something. What did you sink into Distant Fractal? 5 cents from your friend at Locals, right?
You bought the starter deck?
Yeah. Did it cut? Was it? I don't even remember.
Oh, it was a 4-of. Yeah.
That's funny.
In the main.
Zam.
You wonder why, but
yeah.
Look, this card 4 is just such a high number. If this card read like Gloops 2, it probably wouldn't. But yeah, it would have been good.
It might have still needed to be banned. Just the fact that it's a one-cost reservable always.
It pays for itself, yes.
Yeah, it pays for itself and sets up your draw. I think anything more than 1 would have just been too good on this due to the fact of Shangzhou.
Gloops 1. I'm kind of alright with this card if it's Gloops 1.
Because Fractal of Insight, you have to at least tap, and it's a 2-cost. Like,
yeah.
Okay, sure.
And the reasoning is it's a norm card. It can go in a deck as well as it was made way before.
Yeah.
But also it is. it can be used immediately. This card does technically require you to be in Fantasias, not just Fractals, actually. Fantasias.
Yes,
yeah. Which is a requirement until you realize you're playing 26 of them, so who cares? Just...
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't just splash this anywhere.
You can't just...
You shouldn't splash this anywhere.
Yeah, the other three here are cards I had heard discussion about possibly banning. Sheng Zhao for being able to just be Pot of Greed, Burst Asunder for being too easy of a kill con, and Glimmering Refusal for being a effectively 2-cost in cap for Fractals.
Yeah.
But for anything, but they're all enabled by Dissonant Fractal, not necessarily the problem. And I do agree with their banning philosophy of hit the thing that's causing the problem and enabling it. Don't hit the things that are being enabled, because then you just make room for something else to come in. So yeah,
Burst Asunder
good
for a while. Didn't do anything. It was like a very fringe deck because there wasn't a lot of Fractals.
Well, so it popped up at the end of A and B when someone actually tried it. No one had tried it really before the end of A and B. And they topped an ascent with it.
Like, it's one of those cards where it is an innately powerful effect, but there isn't currently a way to make it good. It's how I feel about one of the MRC Alter cards, Shield Fragmentation. It's like 2-cost, sack a shield for someone fast speed. And like, yeah, that's a good effect.
It doesn't win games, though. Burst Asunder can win games.
I don't know, you say that, I've been double fucking thrown weaponed and died.
Well, yeah,
I've been double blazing thrown at the same turn.
That's 2 blazing throws. It only takes 1 Burst Asunder in a vacuum to kill someone.
That's fair. It takes 1 with a lot of setup. The point I'm making is, like, so, yes, the card is innately good, but it requires other things to be, like, truly great.
Yeah.
And, like, it's one of those things where for a while there wasn't really a lot to do that, and then finally there was, and it's like, oh, well, cool. Now this card is maybe, it feels oppressive, but it's actually stuff like Dissonant that is allowing me to consistently find it and get there.
Yeah.
Glim Refusal, same thing of like, yeah, that's a really strong effect if you are playing Fractals.
Yeah.
Or if you're playing Fantasias. This card otherwise is like, textless.
Yeah, but when it's not textless, holy moly.
Oh, it's really good.
Next is Cat 2. So both these got bumped up from Cat 1 to Cat 2. Lost in Thoughts is due
respect one of these.
Yeah, Lost in Thoughts just due to... We've talked about Lost in Thoughts when they moved cats around last time, and we talked about Lost in Thoughts just, I think, at least 2 or 3 times already. Card's good. It's very good in the format of just water mill that they have printed and enabled, which is fine. But the more they print that makes it easier to do stuff with your graveyard and water, the dumber this card proceeds to get.
This card would not be nearly as powerful if it said X cannot be 0.
Yeah. I don't know.
I still think it might be played, but
obviously,
I don't know that, actually.
It's strong just being like a free float. I think the real power of this card is being able to be like, I'm going to draw 5 cards.
Yeah, and that is very reasonable. But that requires a game to go late, which Water is always down to do.
Even I've lost in Thoughts for 5 on turn 3 before. This card's dumb. From the lens of a Genbu player, you gotta be lucky. Yeah, from the lens of a Genbu player, this card is absurd. I often would not play it for 0 to keep it in my hand so that when I mill more float later, I could draw a bunch of cards. That's one thing I see a lot of people pick up Genbu do. They're like, oh yeah, like my hand's like fine, whatever. I'm just gonna throw this Lost in Thoughts in the bed, and I'm like, no. What you should do is hold it, just put some random stuff down in memory for something, and then keep the Lost in Thoughts so that you can be silly with it later.
Yeah. But of course, that one is also matchup dependent. Sometimes you're like, yeah. I need a 3/4 intercept.
Oh yeah, the Frostworm's a different story.
Yeah,
I mean, putting it down for leveling.
Why I think it can be so powerful is it is sometimes just like, I want to know what I'm losing to level, or I want to make this Frostworm big. In other decks that also have Frostworm-esque effects that care about eating your float.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this card reading, pay 5, banish 5 floating memory, because again, one of those things where it's uniquely powerful when you can set it up.
It's almost too easy to set it up now.
It is.
I could consistently do it on turn 4 or 5.
I know, and like, I'm not saying that isn't good and maybe a bit too strong, but like, there is if that's what it's doing, that is a specific role. If it has obscene versatility is when, like, you kind of get the problem of, I don't want people to consistently be able to make a 3/4 Frostborn on turn 1.
Yeah.
In addition to sometimes being like, well, no, I don't need to do that, draw 5. It's like, okay, you were able to do both of those things. Why were you able to tech for aggro and tech for control with one card?
We love water. They keep printing win cons in the water element.
Yep, which means going to 3, not a requirement.
Yeah. Crystalline Mirror. So their argument is that that like water should their original thing when they moved to Cat 1. The original argument was like, we don't want water to have Fantasia destruction that easily and readily accessible. And everyone just turns and looks at Fracturize in the corner of the room, trying to like Scooby-Doo hide its way out of the room. I understand that they don't want a water-destroying regalia for 0 cost, but at the same time, maybe we shouldn't have Fracturize.
Originally, Crystalline Mirror was added to the list as we felt regalia destruction did not fit water's identity. In addition, we have pushed for additional Fantasia support, lowering the bar and improving consistency for Mirror's ability. We're continuing to monitor this card with close attention to its place in the meta at the World Championships.
Yeah,
Alright, so...
I don't understand why Mirror is at Cat 2 and Fracturize is nowhere on the list, not even Cat 1. Dream Fairy is still at Cat 1.
And honestly, like, I still think it's a very powerful card, but I'm, like, beginning to be like, yeah, alright, sure.
I mean, Dream Fairy, so their reasoning for Dream Fairy and Cat... Oh, that's the wrong button. Their reasoning for Dream Fairy being in Cat 1 is, hurts potential future design space. And that's the idea of Cat 1, was could hurt future design space. Which is true, right? The Shenju's, Dream Fairy is very strange to the Shenju's, because it's just like, that kills the Shenju's. Same with Overlord, Crawl, etc. It restricts their design space and making big dumb stuff with any kind of cost. It's fine. But
No,
why is Fracturize not a Cat 1? If we're talking about water regalia destruction, it's like the best regalia destruction thing in the game.
I've gone on my soapbox and I'm kicking out of the way because I'm not getting back on that. You can go watch that episode if you want to hear me rant about that for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I really hope Fracturize gets recognized as an issue at some point, because, like, I don't know, it's just every time they print a regalia that, like, cares about staying in play and doing effects, the water deck is like, oh, okay, that's what my 4 Fracturize are for. Like, if you play a water deck, you don't play less than 4 Fracturize, generally speaking.
No, we've checked. There isn't anyone.
Yeah, so I don't know.
There is the one of my favorite parts of it is if Crystalline Mirror does get put to Cat 3 and does get banned, I will throw a fit. I will be mad.
Yeah.
Followed by my favorite part of it too is they don't even talk about the first part of it, that it says whenever a Fantasia enters, they know that part's fine. They're like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. You wouldn't play it if it didn't have the second half. But also, it's class lock too. Of you have to be Diao-chan, you have to be Vanitas technically, you have to be what's the waifu tax girl's name? Arisana, yeah.
And that was a problem at the end of last meta with like Vani Icebound Slam and such. It's like they play Polar Depths and Fractal Rain and Fracturize, so they could pretty easily make Crystalline Mirror a thing that could pop stuff in a not fractal based deck.
Sure,
but they specifically made it a case of, oh yeah, this card's a problem when Fractals came around. Which is fair. Yeah, it's fair. I just... Are we ever
Wind Fractals. Wind, an element with no fractals.
Yeah. Are we ever going to recognize Fracturize? That's what I wonder.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see.
Eventually.
Yeah. Alright, on to Cat 1. Mercenary Blade. This one makes sense to me, but I never would have thought of it.
I haven't played with this card, because I have a bit more expertise in Assassin, I guess, than you do.
Yeah.
In both regards, I guess. Yeah, it's not what it does that's the problem. Like,
yeah,
it's a 1/1 blade that you could pull out for a prep. Both the Assassins that exist, Xander and Tristan, both have the option of giving you a prep. Xander's is guaranteed, and Tristan you have the option to, when they enter. that means Mercenaries Blade will always be online with no other preparation, ironically.
Yeah.
It their reasoning for it being on here is not that it is too powerful. They put it on Cat 1 because like, hey, we actually are trying to go away from the activate from your deck effects because we feel it takes away from the fact that materializing is a cost. And they were like, this card is very versatile. Sometimes you use this to pick off just a one toughness thing that you need to, or like you help one of your units get there. Like you attack something for 3, and then you're like, okay, add 1 more, kill your Frostborn.
Yeah,
Like,
you can
that
use
sucks.
you can use a Merc Blade with the Slice and Dice to kill Frostwarden's Ghost, etc.
Yeah, and then also, if you add enough prep, get the second attack.
It's just very versatile, and to a fault of design space, which is what the point they're making is.
Yeah, it's and that's why like this card very good. Like if you're an assassin, it's got to the point where Luxem decks are like, yeah, I just kind of want it.
Yeah, and
It helps my math of stabilizing.
yeah,
It does.
Luxem Wind takes really good use of it. Fiza obviously takes good use of it because it's just a, oh yeah, Blazing Throw.
Yeah.
They're not using their prep for anything.
No, and that's the thing with Luxem too is your prep is pretty light. You don't care very early.
It's just for
like,
Slice and Dice early kills sometimes, but that's like not that often.
and some decks aren't even like using that anymore. Sometimes they're like, all right, I want Striking Luminance, which is 1 less prep, and it's 1 activation
I
of
think they
Insignia
usually do
Korhaji.
both.
It depends.
Wait, are you talking about Fire
No.
Luxem or Wind? Wind Luxem doesn't play Insignia.
I was talking about Fire.
Oh, yeah, okay. Fire Luxem's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's a very different deck actually.
Yeah.
Wind Luxem plays a lot more to the board. Fire Luxem does not, which is why. Yeah.
Yeah, because Fire Luxem never really played Slice and Dice. There was like a few people who did, but
because it was your best kill condition.
Yeah.
You would Assassin's Ripper do the thing.
Yeah, sometimes it was a thing, but most of the decks just stuck to Lightweaver's Assault.
Oh yeah, Lightweavers is always the easiest at the very least.
Yeah. But now definitely they just go to Striking Luminance. But even Wind Luxem primarily does Slice and Dice, but sometimes they play Striking Luminance in their sideboard.
Really? Do they have a lot of Luxem cards? I thought they didn't.
It's just more ways to kill people. And reveal Lightweaver's Assault more, because they would take out the Fractal Hate that they had main board and switch it for that, or like take out some copies of Ensnaring Refuge, something like that.
Fair.
Yeah,
this card's fine. Like it being on Cat 1. Yeah, I don't ever foresee this card getting banned unless Fiza becomes obscene. But if Fiza's becoming obscene, something else is the problem.
Yeah.
I'll be real with you. They'd sooner ban Blazing Throw.
Yeah, Blazing Throw would be an issue more, and I don't think Blazing Throw is an issue. It's a good card.
Oh, very good.
But it requires you to be in a specific space for it.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the next, Worlds. Worlds is, we're recording this, it's
Sunday,
so it's, I'm trying to think of number of days. It's 4 days till Worlds? Oh, God.
Yep.
Well, okay, 4 days until Gauntlet. 5 days until Worlds. Worlds starts on Friday. But Gauntlet starts on Thursday. We're getting there Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be at Worlds playing 3v3. Should be a fun time. Just doing side events and stuff. I'm excited for Casino Night. We're gonna bet it. We're gonna pull everyone's tickets and bet it all on black.
Ever since we found out about it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you.
Legal gambling.
Yippee.
But Worlds should be a good time. So I guess for the main event of Worlds is playing for Worlds and trying to get that first place fancy Quicksilver Grail promo. These are our 16 confirmed players. There's also currently, I think it's 32 players in Gauntlet. Top 16 of Gauntlet will then also be in the Worlds. So Worlds will be 32 players.
Got some notable people on here. We got Caven and we got Hanky the Goat.
Yeah, so the first 4 there are from Southeast Asia, Nats.
Nice.
Notably, 2 U.S. people went there
Look,
and
man,
took
sometimes you gotta
spots.
fly if you want to win.
Yeah, the Henke and Felix were from the EU Nats. Cabin and Bailey were from Cabin, Bailey, Wilson, and Poe were from uh, Oceania Nats, and then the last 6 there were from NA Nats, who we saw in that top 8 there. Notably, Cabin was also in the top 8, but he already got a spot, so
Just ate a spot.
yeah. Oh no, it slides down.
Oh, okay, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. That's why
Good.
that's why Korax is here, Mr. Aaron, because the spot got slid down to him.
How do you pronounce his last name?
I'm not gonna try.
Yeah, I don't want to for fear of insulting him.
He is Korax. I will refer to him as such.
All right, noted.
It
Noted.
is weird seeing some of these people's names. I'm like, oh, Corey. That's Perfy.
Hendrik White's Kluten. All right, Henke. Right.
Henke the goat. We can probably make a good expectation of what some of these people are playing. Peter, aka EMP, is a big Win Luxem guy. I would be very surprised if he switched off of it. I believe
he was.
I don't know what Steven's been playing. I don't think Steven's played much since that Nats, just to take a break.
Fair, you know what?
Who knows what Caven's playing? This is a funny thing. When right after the banning happened, people were talking in Lagrange's Lounge of Merlin's Marketplace, the Discord server, and I remember Caven saying, "Tell my wife I love her. I'm going back to the testing caves for a month." So, who knows what Caven's playing? Hopefully, Caven knows what Caven's playing.
Yeah, that could mean anything, yeah.
Bailey might be playing Arasana. That's what he qualified with. He's a big Arasana guy. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't on Arasana, given his history, but...
Look, all I know, I don't know much about people like Kyra people that play this game. All I know is that Henke is a man of the people.
Henke is a man of the people.
He will bring what he deems is right for this format.
I have been following him on Twitter and his ambitions of testing decks, and I feel like every few days it's been, oh, nope, testing something different now.
I mean, you must explore the crowds if you want to be the man.
I really hope it's 60 allies deck. At Nats, he played at NA Nats with, I think it was 53 allies.
Wasn't one of the other 4 the domain?
No. It was deflecting. What, Bitey? No one's playing Bitey. Calm down. It was deflecting edge and crap. What's it called? Stifling trap. This is the Wind version. The Dawn of Ashes version was from Seattle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that was a water deck. No, he was playing Wind allies. And he was on stream against our friend at Nationals, against the Tristan player, where I think a lot of us learned collectively that if Sadie does not obey you, you cannot activate her ability.
Oh, for that, you guys don't know this, but that match was on stream. We go to locals with his opponent.
Yep.
Oh, I felt so bad for Miss Travis.
I make jokes about it whenever I can. It's really funny.
I joined the stream during their match. I was like, oh, Travis is playing. Oh, they're 1-1. Right in time for him to be like, resolve this. I'm like, oh, cool. And then, like, he went to activate it. He goes, you can't. I'm like, oh my god, you can't! I forgot about that rule. Because, fun fact, I checked afterwards. Jacob, how many beasts are there with activated abilities?
0.
How many cards with pride are there?
0.
There are 0. There is no other precedential reason for you to know that.
Yeah.
Henke had to dig in the mines to find this pearl of wisdom.
Yeah,
This is sick tech.
I'm very excited to see what Henke plays. Henke always plays something that's like,
I'm so excited.
That's interesting.
He's a man of the people.
He's a man of the people. Felix, I think, is like the most Tristan player of all time. I believe they've been doing like little quick biography write-ups of the world's players as we get closer. And I believe the one they did for Felix said that He has played Tristan in every single event since Tristan came out.
I mean, man's got dedication.
Yeah, I saw him in Merlin's asking for foil Tristan stuff. So,
No.
that'll be interesting. Who else do I know on this list? Jonathan Chang is Jofacha. I'd be surprised if he wasn't playing Genbu, considering he just won Nats with it.
You went Dex perfect, no notes.
So Devin is Garuthos and Corey is Perfy. I don't know what they're going to be playing. They're True Team along with Caben. So in theory, they'll all together find a deck that's like that they think is best deck in format. But however, my hopes are that Perfy plays Merlin, because Perfy's like one of the Merlin players of all time. Even though I'm fairly certain Merlin sucks right now, I would love to be proven wrong by Perfy.
I mean, isn't that the thing with Merlin? Is sometimes it just shows up. It just goes like, I can deflect anything you do to me.
Yeah, I mean,
Fireball.
if you're smart, you can kill the Genbu, because Prismatic Edge does not target, and they cannot respond.
Yeah, they can respond to the unenter, but they don't get to pick no after the target.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll fugue my Genbu. Cool, that'll resolve. When I have opportunity,
Ascension.
That's like, oh, crap, yeah.
Just that. Well, that's not good.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see what True Team comes up with. But it'll be very interesting if Perfy's playing Merlin. I would love to see Merlin at Worlds. I don't expect to see Merlin at Worlds.
You might see Merlin at Worlds.
Possibly Perfy, if you're listening. It would be
Take Merlin
it
at
would be really
Worlds.
funny.
What are they gonna do? Kill you?
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
Wind prismatic.
Oh god. So Perfy is a very nice person. I met them at Nats, and they're a very, very pleasant person.
I hope to meet them.
Yeah.
I already know that I will be led around like a dog to several people being introduced at Worlds.
Should I get one of those
'Cause I don't
backpacks
know
with a
anyone.
leash on it?
Do you want to do? I'll do that. You know.
No, I don't want to do that. That would be awful.
It'd be funny.
It would be really funny, but yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. It's funny as it'd be. So then we got Taylor and Mitchell, main deck Taylor, main deck Mitch. They were playing Fractals. I don't think they're gonna be playing Fractals, but we'll see. I don't know. Fractals is still good, but I don't know if it's best. You know?
Like, I don't know. It's still like a solid deck.
It's
like,
still really
you know
strong.
what also people like fell out of fashion of running, but might because of the fact that Dissonant got banned?
What?
Necklace of Foresight.
Yeah.
Like it.
I mean, that's
yeah,
the same idea as Orb of Hubris, right? Dig 3 deeper. Now they could just have both.
Yeah. I know. Well, that's my thing too. Is like, Necklace doesn't even cost you a float because you're a cleric.
Yeah, I mean, but like they don't use float for that much.
That's fair. You use it for-
Frostborn. Sometimes they lost in thoughts for like 1 or 2.
They're fractal too.
Intrusion, yeah.
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 I love using that card aggressively. I feel like, I don't know, show me your hands.
Yeah, I don't know. I expect someone will play Fractals at Worlds. But I could not tell you who, if main deck or your team decides to go Fractals again. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Meta is still pretty open, all things considered. Everyone kind of has an understanding of, these archetypes are very strong and these archetypes are very bad. But it's pretty still open in these archetypes are good. Assassin's good. Gorgia's good. Fire aggro is solidly medium as always.
It's always I feel very strongly about fire aggro because it's the same way I feel about like burn and magic. Like any deck that like your entire purpose is just I'm gonna kill you dead as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Is I think a lot of the results of those. I think those decks are always very good if you can play it well. I think a lot of data like, oh, this deck like faced up really poorly into this is like, all right. Did the person know what they were doing? Sometimes you get variance. Like Suzaku,
Yeah.
like 75% of the time you not draw them. They're like, haha, explode. And the other 25% you're like, I have died.
Yeah, that's like
You draw your opener, you're like, game's over.
Suzaku is very strange. I don't know. It's a good deck, but it's also like if you don't nuts draw, you usually lose from what I've seen. And I don't know if I like gambling that much.
Says the Genbu player.
Well, I can control my gambling. I'm cheating the house. It's like I'm counting cards.
I can control my gambling.
Yeah.
I gotta write that one down for later, and then show it to you at casino night.
Oh god, no! If you see me at casino night, don't worry about my gambling habits.
No, for reference, we found out about this 2 days ago.
Yeah,
Like,
I hadn't really
because one of
looked.
our friends was like, "Oh, you going to casino night?" And we looked at each other like, we don't really do that." And she was like, "No, no, no, it's with your tickets." And Jacob was like, "Oh, well, why didn't you say so?" Gambling with not real money.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I hadn't really looked at the event guide. I had just looked at the store part of the event guide, which I'm very excited for. I hadn't really looked at the side event thing, but beyond, starter decks. That's something to say real quick. We're gonna, the first day, Friday, the opening day, we're gonna get design notes for DTR, so that'll be fun. Start of spoiler season, I suppose. And then there's going to be starter deck tournaments where once per day, one per person, you can get one of the new starter decks of CL or Diana. And do a little, I think it's like best of 1 40-minute rounds. You play 3 rounds with the new decks. I mean, you can play the old decks as well. But everyone there is going to be there for one purpose.
CL believers, rise up!
Yeah, I'm picking CL.
I don't know what the deck does yet. Don't care.
Yeah,
they said it's going to be unique, and a lot of his cards won't make sense without context.
That's my favorite kind of card.
That's my favorite. Well, that's how Gojio started. Oh, when this enters, make a fate stone. It's like, what's a fate stone do?
Yeah.
What's a wither counter?
Yeah, we love our nondescript cardboard.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of side events at Worlds. I'm very excited to do draft again, and introduce Noah to draft because
I love drafting. I've never done it for this game, but I love the concept.
Drafting Magic is very fun. Drafting Grand Archive is they did a very good job. I would love to do it at like a locals at one point, but I still need to learn how they randomize the little draft packs. Fair. For people who don't know, there's like a little, you get the 3 packs of A and B, like a Magic draft. It functions just like a Magic draft, except you also get a 4th little pack that has like a spirit where you can declare 2 colors and you have access to those 2 basic colors or elements. But you draw 1 less card. Sure. Some spirits that are champions. They're called nameless champions. They have 2 classes, and you can level them up, quote unquote, by paying 6, giving them a level counter and drawing a card. And then you get a bunch of like regalia and like equipment and such that's draft specific, and they're very interesting to mess around with because they would work in normal Grand Archive, but they'd probably be too strong. So they're
a lot of them are quite good, especially the prismatic spirit of you get 6 of those cards, but you get 2 colors. It's like, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah, that too, but I mean, like just the draft stuff, like the regalia. Yeah. The regalia is really good.
Yeah, they are. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Let me see if I can look at some up real quick. There's like 20 forms of the nameless champion.
What's this? How do you draft pack? There it is.
Yeah, draft pack.
Like Mortal Ambition draft pack.
Like this one's this one, Fauna Friend. It's a 0-cost regalia. You tap it. Target non-human ally gets +1 until end of turn. Activate only if you have 2 or more non-human ally cards in your graveyard. Like, that's just solid. Obviously, you probably wouldn't use that as a regalia slot, but
you know which one also fucks? Gossamer Staff, 0 cost. Pay 1, tap it, empower.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Sure.
The
entwined bangle. Pay 3, put a buff counter, target non-human ally you control.
This one's funny.
Level 2 bonus.
Naga's Fang. 0 cost 1/1 dagger. Remove a prep counter. It gets +1 attack until end of turn.
It just gives you Shadow Strike.
Whoa.
What was the other one that was not? Try to find it.
Okay, now that I'm remembering.
Prismatic Perseverance, level 2 bonus, 15 damage plus, 2 cost. All elements are enabled for you.
Yep.
That includes advanced.
Yep.
Just what do you mean all are?
No, these cards are silly, but they're cool. I like it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun time. I like draft. All right. The other big thing they're doing at Worlds is SP3 is coming out. So out with the old of SP2, in with the new of SP3.
Crazy how numbers are.
Yeah. And the card list is pretty good. I'm not going to say anything on the arts until we have all the arts. You can go look at the Grand Archive Twitter and scroll through all the arts so far and form your own opinion. My opinion is that they're solidly all right.
There are those characters performing those things.
Yep. Of course, the big ones that we're waiting for are the super rares, which I don't think we're going to see until they get opened at Worlds, is what they told us. But Astral Seal, Excalibur, Flame Sweep, and Stifling Trap are the super rares. Yeah, it's interesting. And I think that's going to be what people are really searching for. Also Foil Turbocharge, because Turbocharge. And it's a very solid list of cards. There's a lot of CSRs compared to normal. There's usually like 3 CSRs, I think. Now we have 5. And we're getting some weird ones. Gloamspire, Vertigus Decree, Gyldus, Inzali.
Fracturize.
Yeah,
Fracturize being a CSR is...
Yeah. We've seen the Inzali one.
So you acknowledge it's good.
Yeah, we've seen the Inzali CSR. It looks very nice.
She really does look like she's telling you the then perish.
Yeah, I just wish it was more playable.
Yeah, she's level 3 is such an ask.
Yeah, even the normal, like the on attack effect's just like solidly all right.
It's ping all of your opponent's stuff for
ping
one.
Everything for one.
Oh, is that everything?
I'm fairly sure it's everything if I remember right.
I want to double check.
Yeah.
I thought it was one-sided, but I'm willing to be wrong.
And then of course there's also the CPR Lorraine. It's the level 4
other
Lorraine.
unit? She doesn't hit herself, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
She's an automaton?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Interesting.
Sorry, keep cutting you off.
Yeah, good. I don't know how much SP3 I'm gonna buy. I was gonna kind of go all in and do some gambling on it and try and open some cool stuff, but now I'm like, I don't know.
I know you want to fracturize.
I don't know if I want. If I opened a CSR Fracturize, I'd probably sell it for money at the there, because I know a lot of people are searching for it. It'd be easy.
That's
to
the
sell.
reason to want it.
Yeah, I really want Gyldus.
You don't even know what he looks like yet.
No, but it's funny.
You're like, don't care, want.
Yeah, that's what matters, is that it's funny.
I do like I like most of the art. Like, I know that some people had criticisms of, like, it feels very, like, generic.
Some of them I wish were more dynamic.
Sure. Like, all of it is high quality, though.
Yeah, just
like,
a lot
undeniably.
of them have the feeling of an awkwardly posed action figure or Gundam model. And ever since someone told me that, I cannot unsee it. Some of them are pretty good. Like, the Rallied Advance has Jin on it, and it looks really good.
Oh, it's a very commanding
But,
pose
like,
for him.
Relentless
Love Jin.
Outburst. You go look at the Relentless Outburst one, it looks like Annihilation. Like, it's Lubu doing like a radiating rage thing with her arms out, and it's like, oh, that's Annihilation. Yeah, okay.
I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I agree. That one.
I think we've seen all the rare. No, we haven't seen Blessed Clergy yet. We've seen the other rares though. Blade of Creation's Cordelia. Blissful Calling is Gyldus with like.
That's Cordelia?
Yeah, it's Cordelia on Blade of Creation.
I didn't know that. I wondered who that was.
Blissful Calling is Gyldus with little shrimp legs. Broshard has
the horn.
Kongming. Yeah. Then Mark the Target has a Xiao Quao. Xiao Chao. Fire Assassin Tamer Cat Girl. We've seen Forest Cake, Skirting Step, and Turbocharge in the uncommon slot. I'm very excited to see.
He does have a huge shield. I never knew that.
I'm very excited to see
really
Library Witch, because I'm not a huge fan of Library Witch's art.
Oh, why? Is there any specific reason? Give me two.
It's not something I would want to show my parents.
I mean, I wouldn't show most of this game to my parents.
Yeah, there's some I will, but I definitely not that one. So I'm excited for updated Library Witch art.
Oh my god, did you see the Kickstarter promo version of it?
That one's at least like
No, look at it again.
It's tasteful.
Is Jacob.
Let me go look at it again.
Jacob.
Maybe I'm
Look at it
misremembering.
again.
I don't know. I don't remember it being that bad. I know it's expensive because it's like Kickstarter. Kickstarter promo. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
I thought it was tasteful, and I'm like, you sure?
that's
You're really sure about
I don't know
that
if I've
one?
ever looked at it this close.
I don't even think you need to look at it that close.
I've
I
kind of
think some things are very flesh colored.
I've seen it at a distance. I thought it was more like a wizard's robe. I didn't know it was
I mean, it's about 75% of a wizard's robe.
maybe 50% of a wizard's robe.
But man, that 25, 50%.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. Anyways, I'm excited for new library witch art.
Do you think somehow it'll be worse? Again, I don't want to say worse than it's bad quality, people. It is good quality. It is very high quality.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Do we think she'll be more
very
covered?
specific parts of it are in high quality.
Yeah.
We don't have Hydroguard retainer either, do we?
And now we don't have most of the uncommons yet.
Oh, we have the forest cake. I remember that one.
Yeah, with
Because
hyper realistic deer.
For those of you that don't know, we implore you to go look at the art of Forest Cake because it's good and it's high quality, it's well done, but the deer that's in the art is too realistic.
It's kind of staring into your soul, which I kind of vibe with because like one of the OG Sylvie 3 just has that wolf that just looks like it's on something. It had a few too many shrooms from the forest.
If you've ever seen Siladar's Twitter icon, that's the wolf.
That's the wolf, yeah.
Yeah, this deer is just very. It's looking at that cake and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I want it.
I'm excited to see the super rares. I like all these cards.
Yeah.
We do already have 2 arts of Stifling Traps, so it'll be interesting to see what they come up with the third.
I was not a huge fan of the second Stifling Trap art.
I like the second one a lot.
Really?
I don't like the first one as much. I like the second one because it looks like
mysticality.
I guess so. It looks like the two guys in the second one are like in terror, which I think is funny. They're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. And it's like, yes, it's good. There's some emotion.
I mean, the first one is literally just like a kid like stepping on a trap and the entire wall lighting up.
That's true.
He also ain't having a good time, to be fair.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see what they do with the 4. I think it looks so far that Primea Studios is doing all of the non-CSR art. And the CSRs are just going to be various artists. Gule, the goat, did Inzali.
I just realized the Stifling Trap arts, those two people are almost in the exact same pose if you look.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I don't know if I'd be surprised if Gule was doing the art for all 5 CSRs, but I would not be upset. Gule art is very good.
I wonder how they're gonna do Gloomspire. Because if all of like the rares and uncommons have been like notable people on the arts of the cards, I'm kind of interested how they'll do a domain.
Yeah, this
like
is
Gyarados is easy.
Yeah.
You just put Gyarados in a badass pose.
This will be our first CSR domain, so
Yes.
that'll be interesting. Yeah, I don't really know how they're gonna do it, but I'm excited to see.
Same.
Yeah, I think that's everything. A little shorter. We're at like, I don't know, an hour.
Yeah, it wasn't too crazy long.
Yeah.
There wasn't as much for us to talk about. It was far less like opinion-based stuff. We were just like, all right, here's what's coming up. Here's what's happening.
We'll have a lot more to talk about after Worlds because we'll physically have our hands on the starter decks.
We should. I don't know if I assume we're allowed because they'll be like.
Oh, we can take pictures, yeah.
Well, not just that. I think we should. We should play with them when we get back. Like, we should on camera play them.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get my hands on both because I'll get CL the first time I do it, and then I'll play probably on Sunday and get Diana if they still have them.
I will tell you what, I'll do the inverse.
Okay.
I'll buy Diana first. That way we guarantee to have one of each.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, and then we can finally figure out how to set up in-person gameplay because
This does, by the way, confirm. I want you to know which part of the Dusklight Communion we are.
Oh, it does. Crap, yeah.
Yeah, you're Umbra, I'm Astra.
Fair enough. Huh.
Confirmed.
Thanks, Sildar, I guess.
Thanks, Sildar. That would be, by the way, that is such a fitting first like recorded game to have on the channel. Is
Yeah.
an Astra versus Umbra matchup.
That would be pretty funny.
Such a good bit.
I guess I'll have to try and record that after we get back.
Yeah, we'll need to figure out how to do that. But
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
figure it out.
We'll take pictures of all the cards and use those as the tabletop sim things.
There's gotta be an easier way.
That would be so awful. That would make for such an awful experience.
Tabletop Simulator is such a good tool, but like I imagine recorded content of it just kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's not great. Unless it's like board game stuff. Like, oh crap, I forgot his name. There was a British YouTuber does a lot of like board games on tabletop, but they're like hellish versions of it. So it's like Monopoly from Hell, where it has like 5 rings of a Monopoly board, and you have to like go through them
They
sequentially.
made an like official version of that called Monopoly Longest Version Ever, where there's 2 rings of it, and in order to put house on things, you need to own all of the color within the 2 rings.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Monopoly is a bad game, just period. There's the person who invented it as a satire on that monopolies are bad and capitalism sucks.
Yeah.
And then some guy stole the idea from her and sold it to Hasbro.
Oh
And
my
like,
God.
if that's not the most ironic thing you've ever heard.
Okay, I found it. It's Vale Fisk. Vale Fisk has done lots of videos where he makes awful versions of things. So yeah, it's Insane Monopoly, where it has 5 rings and you can traverse the rings. He's also done such hit videos as I made a board game to torture people, my most painful board game yet, Uno, but there's 562 cards. He did Extreme Monopoly. ChatGPT makes a board game. Realistic Monopoly. Oh, and Insane Catan. Insane Catan is like, it has nukes.
What? What does that mean?
Good channel recommendation for Vale Fisk. He makes good content. It's very funny, and you get to see people really at their worst.
I mean, that's just people playing Catan.
Yeah, after 5 hours of Ultimate Monopoly, people are just like, "Let me free."
I don't want to be here anymore.
That's too bad.
God,
Yeah, Worlds will be fun. We'll both be there.
If
Yeah.
you see us, say hi. You know,
I don't know what we look
us
like.
two, the people you know what we look like.
Yeah.
Quick, Jacob, put a picture of us.
No.
Do you own a picture of us?
Of us. A picture of us two in the same frame? I highly doubt it.
We do not take pictures together.
Which is funny, because we've known each other for
almost for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Hold on, 15 years? Is that right? No, it's a little less than that. Are we getting there? At least a decade.
Yeah, at least a decade. Because we've been playing Magic for like a decade.
Yeah, so like at the very least. Either way, point is, yeah, we do not. Even when we go out, we've traveled together before.
Yeah.
And like, we didn't take pictures while we were there.
The closest thing is when we did Minecraft prom during COVID, and you are an armor stand in the picture
because I didn't own Minecraft.
You didn't own Minecraft.
And even if I did, that's not even a picture of us.
I know. That's the closest thing.
Oh my god, we gotta take a picture of ourselves.
No, I think it's funnier this way.
We just perpetuate.
Oh wait, no. There is a picture of us existing after Banished Zone Regionals.
There is.
But I don't know. I've never gotten that picture, so.
Oh, I didn't either.
Someone has it. Neto probably has it.
Someone is in possession of the sole photo containing both of us at the same time.
Oh my god.
Of our own volition.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's everything.
Yeah, that's a great way to end it. We're definitely friends. You guys have to trust us.
Yeah, we're not People have seen us in the same room before.
Yes.
Uh,
We may have been insulted each other, but that's point.
but yeah, Worlds will be fun. We'll have a lot to talk about afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're at
Hey,
Worlds, maybe see you there.
yeah.
Come to
You won't
Casino
know
Night
it
and
till you
watch us
hear us.
gamble.
Yeah. Bet it all on red, baby.
Oh no, obviously you bet it all on black. Number.
I
I don't know how gambling
I
works.
want to bet on the opposite of whatever you do.
That way one of us will win. Oh my god.
Yeah,
We're
that's
so
not what
smart.
the zeros are for.
We're so smart. We're so smart. Surely
So-
there's nothing that works against us this way.
Surely.
Probably.
Right.
I don't know how gambling works. I only know
I
James
I
Bond
know.
movies.
You made that abundantly clear.
I've seen Casino Royale.
Oh, I
It's a good movie.
see you guys in the next episode.